All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Fundy Sea Shanty Festival. And welcome to, let's have a round of applause for that.
Kicking it off.
Tell you, we drove in this morning and just to see that bay and the caves and have a lobster roll, it's like, oh, we've arrived. Yeah, it's good. Welcome as well to the first ever Shanty Show podcast recording with a live audience. You guys are our guinea pigs, our beautiful guinea pigs. Thank you so much for being here. In case some of you haven't had the chance to see the Shanty Show podcast, this is a project that we started over the course of the pandemic to talk to shanty singers from around the world. We've done about 20 episodes now with singers from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from Spain, from the UK, from Poland, and of course from North America. So we will be recording this, as I mentioned earlier, and it will be going up on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and I really encourage you to check it out. It is an interview format, and we also are going to sing some songs, but we figured, given that we had an audience today, we would do a few more songs than we normally do, so don't worry, there'll be lots and lots of singing today. My name's Stefan, and together with my colleagues Tim, James, and Richard, we are Pressgang Mutiny. We are thrilled to be here. We'll be performing throughout the weekend, but more importantly than us, we are joined on stage by Mr. Chris Ricketts, singer, songwriter, extraordinaire. What's that? Reprobate extraordinaire. Yes. Who's joining us all the way from Portsmouth in the UK. And as I understand it, you flew into Halifax and have been enjoying your time on the East Coast so far. So welcome, Chris. Let's have a round of applause. Yeah. So we're going to start us off with a quick shanty here. This was actually the theme song to the Shanty Show. It's the shortest shanty we know, and it's called Paddy Doyle's Boots.
Tell me where will pay Paddy Doyle for his boots. Tell me where Tell me where will all shave under the chin.
Tim got the memo.
Tell me where whiskey and gin.
That's it. I told you it was short.
I gotta say, before we proceed, the verse about throwing muck at the cook, we will have none of that noise here.
That's
if you
right.
smell the chowder that is coming out of that kitchen, we are ready. Thank you.
Well, let's just keep going right with another shanty. And Chris, you're going to lead us in one. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Let's just sing it. Should we teach it to them?
Perfect.
I think,
yes, teach it away.
I sing a line, and then you guys sing "Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe." That's about it, isn't it? Throughout the whole thing.
That's it.
That's it. A little back and forth, call and response song. Let's just sing it, hey? When I was a little lad, me mother always told me, "Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe." That if I did not kiss the girls, my lips they'd go all mouldy. Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe. King Louis was the king of France before the revolution. Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe. And then he got his head cut off, it spoiled his constitution. Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away Joe. First I am a Pompey boy, I'm damn near fat and lazy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. And then I had this Spanish girl, she damn near drove me crazy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way haul away, we'll haul away together. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way haul away, we'll haul away together. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Thanks for that, Chris. So the first question we typically ask all of our guests is, how did you get into sea shanties? How did you find this? How do you approach it? And what grabbed you about them?
I've always loved folk music. When I was very young, 14, I went to my first sort of folk festival at Cropredy in Oxfordshire, ran by the guys in Fairport Convention. And I sort of saw a lot of folk bands and things there, and I knew that folk music was for me. I loved the stories, I loved the songs, I loved all of that. And went away and sort of found a niche in folk music to start with and sort of traditional English songs. And then I decided that the university I wanted to go to in the north, the furthest university away from my home, in Newcastle, I went and studied folk music there.
Did you do that was the folk music program there?
Yeah. So I was there. I did 3 years before I switched down to Southampton. But in my time there, my first module, they said I had to learn songs from Hampshire and where I was from. And like I said earlier, I'm a bit of a degenerate and I rebelled against this idea. And I said, I didn't come on this course to learn these songs from where I'm from. I came here to learn the culture of different places, different counties of the UK. And I thought, how can I get around this module? And so I thought, well, I'm from a port town. I'm from Portsmouth in the UK. And I learned a load of sea shanties and sea songs. And I sang them for that module to say a big finger up to the to the university lecturers, and that's how I got into shanties. But needless to say, I then failed that module. So,
But you're here.
but they got me onto shanties, and then I think from there I sort of found a niche within that course and the other people there, and I was then known as the shanty singer, and I was invited to Vegasack, Bremen in Germany, and I was introduced to this wonderful community of shanty singers that wasn't just people from England, it was people from all over the world. And I was hearing the same songs in different languages, with different verses, different choruses, and just various different versions of these songs. I just sort of fell in love with, I suppose, the community vibe of shanties and the union that it brings, rather than the traditional ship working side of shanties. So it's more the community that sort of drove me to these songs.
Yeah, brilliant. And then you spent some time on cruise ships as well after that?
Yeah, so I finished my degree. I switched down to popular music performance in Southampton, which is not as cool as folk and traditional music in Newcastle. But finished there, and I was looking for a job, and I saw that cruise ships had come up. They wanted entertainers, and I went on board my first ship. It was a Princess cruise line, and I sang shanties to the passengers on cruise ships. Little did I know that they wouldn't appreciate them as much. And there's a wonderful review on Cruise Critic that says Chris Ricketts was all right, but he didn't half sing a lot of shanties. And so from there I sort of then did the entertainment thing on the cruise ships for about 5-6 years.
Because that's one of the things that I think stood out to me listening to your music is there does seem to be, on a spectrum of shanty singers, right? You've got all the way from very, very quote-unquote traditional, all the way to, like, the Longest John's just did an album with entirely chip tunes, or listening to Bellowhead with, a brass and string section, right?
Yeah.
And you, I think you found a nice middle ground for yourself where you're bringing a little bit of a modern or more, dare I say, kind of poppy sound into the way that you sing and the arrange the songs. Is that deliberate?
Yeah, I suppose my final project at University at Southampton was an album of shanty songs which had various different styles, and I wanted so I've got a heavy rock, Thin Lizzy style guitar shanties in Rollicking Randy Dandio, and then right over to the sort of traditionally, and then I've gone full on reggae with Drunken Sailor at times as well. And so I just wanted to explore the song form and how it can be changed and how it can change up within the different genres of music that we have as well.
Yeah, very cool. Would you sing us another song? I think we talked about maybe doing Shallow Brown as one that had a little bit of that influence in it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm bound to leave you shallow, shallow brown. Oh, I'm bound to leave you shallow, oh, shallow. Master's gonna sell me shallow, shallow brown. Master's gonna sell me shallow, oh, shallow. Sell me for $1, shallow, shallow brown. Great big Spanish dollar, shallow, shallow. Oh, I'm bound to leave you shallow, shallow brown. Oh, I'm bound to leave you shallow, oh, shallow brown.
Oh, that was nice. I think I almost shed a tear.
Almost.
I want to talk a little bit about how you approach songs. Obviously, you've got several different instruments with you here, but when you think about approaching an arrangement of a traditional song, are there ways that you go about selecting a song or treating a song? Does the song speak to you, or are you going into, like for a Drunken Sailor reggae version, for example, was that the intent, or did the song just call for that?
Yeah, I suppose we started off with Drunken Sailor. We started off recording that, and I've got a wonderful guy in the studio who's a producer of country music and country songs, and it just sort of took its own life as when we started getting the sort of rhythms together. I mean, I do an acoustic version, and I have the acoustic version of the song, and it just, I suppose it evolves in the studio there. I mean, the technological processes are so advanced now that there's anything you can do. I mean, I do want to try and change it up a bit as well. I mean, it's quite controversial. I get regular emails telling me that the songs and shanty songs that I'm doing are not in a traditional format, and that there's shame on me. I get some wonderful emails. Dear Chris, I think you'll find it's tu rye, not tu lie, because tu rye would be the Scottish version.
That is the eternal debate.
And then he replies, thank you very much for your information. However, it's recorded. I can't take it back, you know. It takes on a life of its own, and I like experimenting and trying out different things with it. It's really quite fun.
Yeah, very cool. I think we might sing another song. So obviously, we swing much more to what I call the traditional side of it. But one of the ways that we've approached arrangements has been to find different versions of maybe the same shanty. One of the fun things about doing this show and talking to people from all over the world is you'll very regularly get the same song but with a completely different tune and potentially even completely different lyrics, but has obviously got some root. And so wherever possible, we find it kind of interesting to jam those two together. So I think we'll do our version of Storm Along John.
Yeah. Oh, Stormy's gone, that good old man. Way storm along, John. Stormy's gone, that good old man. Way, hey, Mr. Storm along. An able sailor, bold and true. Way storm along, John. Good old captain to his crew. Way, hey, Mr. Storm along. Well, I wish I was old Stormy's son. Way, storm along, John. Build a ship of 1,000 tons. Way, hey, Mr. Storm along. Well, Stormy's gone and laid to rest. Way, storm along, John. All the sailors he was best. Way, hey, Mr. Storm along.
Ah, poor old Stormy, that good old man. Stormy along, John, storm along. Ah, poor old Stormy, he's dead and gone. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. We'll take his grave with a silver spade. Stormy along, John, storm along. Its shout of the finest silk is made. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. And we'll lower 'em down in a golden chain. Stormy along, John, storm along. Or our eyes all misty with more than rain. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. We'll take 'em down to Montego Bay. Stormy along, John, storm along, 'cause that's where Stormy said he would lay. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. And I wish I was old Stormy's son. Stormy along, John, storm along. Well, I'd build a ship of 1,000 tons. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. And I'd fill her up with Jamaican rum. Stormy along, John, storm along. Then up to Newfoundland where the cod comes from. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. Now, poor old Stormy, that good old man. Stormy along, John, storm along. Ah, poor old Stormy, he's dead and gone. Come along, get along, Stormy along, John. lyrical similarities between the versions. Obviously, the same kind of subject matter, the same theme between the two tunes that James and I sang, but obviously musically different. They were kind of different in their form a bit. So I don't know. That's maybe what a few dozen generations of passing over that song from ship to ship, from crew to crew, kind of might do to it. So.
Were those both from the Stan Hugill Songs of the Seven Seas? Those two versions?
Probably.
Yeah, I believe so. Is there a shanty that you can't find in the Bible?
I think I got my version from Ewan McCall. I'm not sure where Richard found his.
Might have been a video game.
For those that don't know, yeah, this is a very, very good source for shanties. There are countless books, but Stan tends to get a bit of the nod for preserving. He's sometimes referred to as the last shantyman. We were actually chatting with, I think it was Eric Ruff of the Yarmouth Shantymen, who are here this week or weekend, and he was saying that the last boat that Stan sailed in, the Garthpool, he was actually wrecked in that boat, was registered to a Canadian line at the time. So technically the last shantyman, if you believe that story, the last square rigger that he sailed in and sang the last shanty on was a Canadian vessel by registration. So pretty cool. That was a really long-winded way to get to a question. Where do you find your songs?
I do a lot of writing of songs, but I also do that thing where you go and find a lot of research, you go find songs, and 9 times out of 10 I find that somebody's written a song better than I would already, and I then steal it.
And I realized I'm going to change the order up a bit because we have the perfect segue. You actually have a song that you've stolen that I think would be right for right now, right?
Yeah, a friend of mine, the wonderful band Kimber's Men from the UK. A guy that used to sing with them called David Buckley is a wonderful, wonderful person, and he wrote this song about the last shantyman, Stan Hugill. It's got a wonderful chorus, so if you wouldn't mind being the band again, that'd be lovely today. And it's, hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, can we follow you across the sea? Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, will you sing a last song for me? And if you don't get that, just sing a last song for me. And if you don't get that, just sing me. I want the cold crisp dockside mornings that take your breath away, to hear the gathering seagulls chorus that sends us on our way, to hear the old oak timbers creaking as they lull you off to sleep, to feel the good wind blow behind me as we sail across the deep. Here's the chorus. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, can we follow you across the sea? Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, will you sing a last song for me? I want the slowly rolling sun-kissed hills that while away the days, to see the weathered-faced old mariners queuing for their pay, to feel the touch of anticipation as those storm clouds gather round, to feel the tightening of the stomach when it's for the homeward bound. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, will you sing a last song? Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, will you sing a last song for me? I do know what I promise. I want to ride the topsail yard in the face of a howling gale, stand side by side with shipmates as we haul upon the sail. I want the feeling of belonging to that special band of men. I want to sail along the Davis Strait and chase the whale again. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, can we follow you across the sea? That's the one. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shantyman, will you sing a last song for me? I want to toast the missing heroes wherever they may be, Wanna mourn the fearless crewman we commended to the sea. I wanna laugh and shout and curse and fight until the drink is done. I wanna climb high in the rigging, watch the setting of the sun. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, can we follow you across the sea? Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, will you sing a last song for me? I wanna turn around for home and those girls we've left behind. With all the money in my pocket, good times on my mind. But these days are lost forever, we'll not see the likes again. There's just a distant memory of this brotherhood of men. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, can we follow you across the sea? Yes. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, will you sing a last song? One more time. Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, can we follow you across the sea? Hey Stan, hey Stan, hey Stan the shanty man, will you sing a last song for me? Well sung.
I think we may have inadvertently created a new game, which is sing the lyrics slightly wrong and very loudly, and see if you can throw the lead singer off. As there, that was fun.
And
it's
it
fully
works,
intentional.
It works.
Well done. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So one of the things we were talking about before we came on stage was the way that shanties. Speaking of lyrics changing and maybe not being exactly the same in every version or with every singer, that doesn't normally happen spontaneously on stage. But that each shanty singer would arrange shanties or have their own maybe pet lyrics. There'd be verses that show up in this song and then show up in a song over here. Is that like when you are doing a more traditional shanty, for example, do you have a selection process of how picking verses? I know some singers will arrange it like in a story, others will say, no, I'm gonna stick to what was in the book or the version I heard. Do you have a process like that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you do a lot of research. You probably do the same thing where you go and find all these different versions of shanties and you sort of pick and choose the ones you like, but I also find that my memory is particularly bad, and so verses evolve from having to completely wing it on stage and make them up as you go along, and you think, oh, I've made that one up, and actually that one will stay, that one will come in, and then you just find, I mean, you find the words that at the time because you have to, because there's an audience in front of you and they're all looking at you and it's scary. And so you think, oh, I've got to come up with a verse here, and you do, and sometimes it sticks and sometimes you remember. They come from out of nowhere. I find that like you'll be halfway through a song and think, oh, I remember that verse, that's a great one. But I tend to try to have a collection of different verses in my head that I've sang before, and whatever comes to me at the time, we throw out there. And sometimes it's la-la-las, which are always good fun to sing.
The reason I was asking about verses and picking one is because we thought we would have a little fun live on stage and maybe just try to do a version of South Australia where we each sing a verse somewhat spontaneously. Some of us may have some idea what we're going to sing. Some of us maybe don't, but I'm going to throw a wrinkle into this, boys, and I'm going to say that we're going to go down the line twice. So even if you did have one line, you now got to come up with two. And I don't even know what my first one is yet, really.
So you haven't got the Wi-Fi code.
We'll try it. I'm sure this lovely, loving shanty audience will go easy on us, right?
And I get to start, right?
Yeah. What's that?
I get to start.
Yeah, you get to start.
Yes. That's the easy one. That means I get to pick the key as well, so I apologise in advance.
That's the bigger advantage.
Are you, what
I think Richard's planning to steal my verse.
You're planning. Don't plan it. We're not allowed to plan it.
Verse of South Australia right now.
We're not allowed to plan it. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yes.
I'm trying to give you as much time as possible to get some verses here. And I'm also trying to think of a second one myself, but here we go. In South Australia I was born. Heave away, haul away. South Australia round Cape Horn, and we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
I wish I was on Australia's strand.
Heave away, haul away.
A bottle of whiskey in me hand.
We're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
As I roved out one morning fair,
Heave away, haul away.
where I met Miss Nancy Blair.
We're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
You can keep your whiskey and gunpowder.
Heave away, haul away.
I want a bowl of St. Martin's chowder.
Bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
We're Fundy born, we're Fundy bred.
Heave away, haul away.
Thick in the arm and thick in the head. We're
Bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South
Australia.
Australia, my native land. Heave away, haul away. With the rocks and the thieves and the fleas and the sand, and we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you hear me sing. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
And what's better than Australia's sand?
Heave away, haul away.
On a shanty tour in a camper van.
Bound for South Australia. Haul away, you hear me sing. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
Well, St. Martin's a bloody fine place.
Heave away, haul away.
We're getting blind drunk, ain't no disgrace.
We're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling kings. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
A nice guitar, I like how you pick it.
Heave away, haul
I
away.
think that almost rhymes with Chris Ricketts. We're
Bound for South Australia. Haul away, you hear me sing. Heave away, haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
Oh, should have seen that one coming.
That's a good new drinking game, I think. You do his shanty until somebody gets it wrong, and then they have to drink, right? So you've got the first drink.
All right. Actually, I think he's buying the first round.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
For everyone.
Well, I shouldn't have hesitated in singing that super rude version about Stefan. That's what. Should I sing that? No, don't do it.
Thank you. Right when my kids walked in the room too. We'll keep it family oriented. Hey kids.
Oh, right, we do have kids. Hello, kids. Welcome. Sing along, please. Right, so one of the things that we wanted to talk about a little bit was I want to just hear some stories about your time on the cruise ships and your international experiences. You know, I've seen a video of you up on stage in Poland singing a Polish version of Northwest Passage, and one of the things that became really clear to us as we really started to dive into this music was just how international, arguably the world's first international music. Has that influenced the way that you approach your singing at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I say, there's versions of these songs all over the place in different languages and different rhythms that are used, different structures of songs completely. And the one thing I do know is that I do only sing in English because my Polish, my French, any other language, I can barely speak English, let alone any other language. So I am absolutely, I mean, I love going to these festivals and I always leave them going, do you know what, I'm going to go away, I'm going to learn a bit of French, I'm going to learn a bit of Polish, and then I get home and think, this is too hard, I'm not going to do it. Time is one of those things that, I mean, I am not just a shantyman, not just a musician, I'm a teacher. Is there any other teachers in? Love the hands up.
I think you have to call on them
So
now, don't you?
yeah. So and then like it's just been really a busy time. To learn a language for me, I'm making a massive excuse here as to why I don't know. And I'm sorry, as the guys from Brice Glass know that I've done the Saint Jean Port Joli Festival. This will be my 6th time, I believe, and I've still only got Bonjour in my repertoire. So, and that, yeah. So my French is terrible, and now you're going to sing a French song, aren't you? Yeah, but I don't tell them that.
Busted.
Yes.
6 times. By the 7th year, only speak to him in French. No more slack. That's it. You cut him no more slack.
Do you notice any difference in the ways that maybe different shanty communities around the world are different? Like, the singers in Poland approach it any differently from the singers here in Canada, or have you noticed any of those differences at all?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the Polish shanties, I mean, they didn't have a shoreline for so long. I mean, so their versions of shanties and their experience of shanties are on their lakes and big lakes where they go sailing rather than on the actual sea. So you'll find that they have more river songs and sea songs rather than actual traditional shanties. And but I think it was Hugo's book that was translated into Polish in the 80s that caused this massive resurgence of folk song and shanties in Poland. And so there's one of the biggest shanty festivals in the world there. But you go there and you don't have to understand a word they're saying because they're not the shanties that you hear in English. And I think Poland's quite unique in its approach to shanties in particular. So.
Very cool. We don't have a Polish shanty, but we do have a French one. Do you want to? Should we sing?
Yeah, since you said you're no good at French, let's ask you to sing along.
I did my wife is francophone. She's a Quebecer from Montreal, and I'm also terrible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's wonderful. What are you talking about?
No, I'm sorry about my French. I'm sorry that she's. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, she wants a word. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm terrible with languages as well, which I'm convinced is just an excuse not to try. But I was very proud one day that I got to go home and translate and say, look, the chorus to this song is Pique le baleine, je veux naviguer. So it's roughly, and don't hold me accountable for this, roughly translates into stab the whale, I want to go sailing. So I told her, I know I've got my first French sentence. I can do this now. So.
What a sentence.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. It comes in surprisingly handy.
Yeah.
Pour retrouver ma douce amie au mes bouées. Oh là, là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer. Ô 1000 mers, j'ai navigué au mes bouées. Oh là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer. Des mers du nord aux mers du sud, aux mes bouées. Oh là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer. Je l'ai retrouvé quand je m'ai noyé au mes bouées. Oh là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer. Dans les grands fonds, elle m'espérait au mes bouées. Oh là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer. Ensemble, en couple, on s'est couché au mes bouées. Oh là, là. Pique la baleine, joli baleinier. Pique la baleine, je veux naviguer.
Well, Chris, it's been awesome chatting with you, and also a huge thank you to our live audience. It's the first time we've tried to do the podcast with a live audience, and you guys have just been awesome. Thank you for your singing and patience. And And of course, a massive, massive thank you to all the organizers and volunteers of the festival here. You're in for an amazing weekend. It's an incredible lineup of artists, lots of opportunities to learn more about this music and to join in the singing and to maybe have a few beers along the way as well. So we're going to sing one last song, but we're around for the whole weekend. I really hope that you'll come up and say hi and let's have a chat. But yeah, just really, really appreciate you all being here. Chris, I think you're gonna lead us in one more song. Sam's gone away.
Sam's gone away. I wish I was a cabin boy on board a man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was a cabin boy on board a man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boy, so work, I say. Twice. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the gunner on board a man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the gunner on board a man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the captain on board this man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the captain on board this man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the admiral on this man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I wish I was the admiral on this man of war. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
I wish I was a shantyman on board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Said I wish I was a shantyman on board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, don't work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, don't work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Well, I wish I was asleep on board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Well, I wish I was asleep on board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Well, that explains a lot. On board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Well, that explains a lot. On board a man of war.
Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, oh work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, brave work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I cannot wait to try a pint of scurvy cure. Woo! Sam's gone away on board a man of war. I cannot wait to try a pint of scurvy cure. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, don't work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, don't work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, don't work, I say. Sam's gone away on board a man of war.
Figured it out.
Seamless. All right, let's have a big round of applause for Chris.
Pressgang Mutiny.
Thank you very much. We'll see you around the festival.